The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. God, how time flies. Good afternoon, San Antonio. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show, where for the last 16 years, we have brought you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. We have got such a great show coming up for you, especially if you are looking into getting into Medicare Advantage. Let me welcome you. This is the greatest, if you're in the San Antonio area, this is the greatest agent. Let me bring her on. Good afternoon, Susan.
Hi, good afternoon. Friday, finally.
I know. Listen, I got to tell you something. I'm not trying to embarrass you, but I got to tell you this. I always save it for the live show. We have a gentleman who's been listening to our show for 6 years. He watches your show, and he's 70 years old. And he told me, he said, you know what? I am going to get together with Susan. She is the most beautiful expert you have of all your shows.
Oh, thank you.
Wasn't that nice?
That was sweet. Yes, thank you.
Your information. So you have a change in your company name.
Yes, so we are still with Medicare Gals, but we are kind of branding ourselves as Signature Senior Advisors because, yes, we do focus on Medicare, but we do a lot of other stuff too. So, if you need ancillary policies like cancer policies and, one of my agents does under 65 insurance. So we do a bunch of different things. Our main focus, though, is Medicare. So we just wanted to branch off and put more emphasis on advisory because we are advisors, not agents technically. So we want to make sure that people know Signature Senior Advisors. We're still with Medicare Gals, but we're just kind of more an advisory team now.
Okay. Well, hey, listen, I think it's such a great idea. You know what? I could not wait for this show, Susan. Because your last show you did with us, you were on your way to Washington, D.C.
Yes.
And I thought that was so cool. And I could not wait for you to get back and talk to us about all the things that you learned.
It was really fascinating. So it was my first time going up there. There was about 220 new agents that actually went to the Capitol Conference for the first time. And it was actually really intriguing. We got a lot of training, maybe 2.5 days before we actually went to Capitol Hill. And the day that we went to Capitol Hill, which was Tuesday, which was State of the Union. So it was kind of crazy, a lot of extra security, definitely on the streets and at the Capitol. We got to meet with 3 of the 4 representatives that we were supposed to meet with. And we didn't actually get to meet with them per se, because actually while we were there, they were doing live voting. The reps in the Senate they were on the floor doing live voting. And it's really interesting because in the Capitol, when they're ready to vote, they have an alarm system that goes off. And so the alarm system, it's kind of like a reminder, hey, get down to the floor because we're about to vote. So that was really interesting to see in chaos and stuff like that. But we got to go to Representative Chip Roy. We got to go to Representative Joaquin Castro and Representative Michael Cloud. and we got to meet with their staffers, but we got to kind of talk to them about what's going on with the Medicare world, what's going on that we can try to help, push things forward and make things better. And there was 2 out of the 3 were pretty receptive. We
That's
had a
good
group of
for our.
about 7 people in our group, and we all got to kind of talk and say our piece. There was 2 of the staffers were pretty receptive. One was like just kind of just taking notes and was like, okay, we'll pass it along, right? So it was really neat to see all that. And as constituents of these representatives, anyone can actually make an appointment with the representatives and talk with them about something that's on their mind, something that they can probably push forward for you. So it's kind of neat that, they're not off limits. They are very accessible if you need to talk to them. Obviously, you have to make an appointment, but you can definitely go and talk to them about things that are on your mind.
Wow, that's amazing. What was the biggest take from your meeting?
So there were two discussions that we talked about most was price transparency. Because when you go shopping and you go and buy something, you see a price tag and you know exactly what that's going to cost you. But in healthcare, there's really no price tag. So, if you go to one hospital, you could pay $400. If you go to another hospital, you could pay $4,000. So there's
Wow.
but they don't know, they don't let you know, they just bill you and they're like, oh, wow, this is not what I was expecting. So we're kind
Right.
of asking for more price transparency so that people know exactly what they're going to owe when they go, right? So it's kind of like shopping. You go and you can shop for, if you want to go shop for this hospital because it's cheaper, or versus this hospital. So you can kind of pick and choose. But that was one of the things, price transparency. And then the other thing is, this is a big one. When it comes to Medicare, how do I explain this into terms that I won't get in trouble? um, so there's a lot of insurance carriers right now that are pulling some of their plans from the
Yes.
consumer platforms. So basically what that means is they don't want Medicare consumers to be on their plans because they have too many people.
Mm.
And when they have too many people on their plans, they're like, oh, wait, we need to step back. We've got just, too many. It's going to cost us. So what can we do? We're going to limit the availability now. So these Medicare plans are basically taking themselves off the shelf. So as agents, we can't offer them anymore to our clients. Consumers don't know that they have other options than what's available because they've kind of, and I hate to say it, but it's kind of like steering. They're steering people
Mm.
into plans because they don't want you anymore. So that was one of the topics that we brought up, is that with Medicare plans, they have to do their final bids and final contracts for the new year by July. But in the middle of the year, they can decide to pull their plan at any time. Now, the people who are on the plan, they can stay on that Medicare plan, but they don't want new people to be enrolled in that plan. So
Right.
we're trying to ask them, look, this limits the options for Medicare consumers. And when you don't offer everything that's on the plate, then this gives, these consumers something that might not be good for them. And
Mm.
so we're trying to tell them, like, look, we have rules and regulations as agents and advisors. We have rules and regulations that we have to follow. But these insurance companies can do what they want. And they don't have to follow, hey, you know what? We filed an agreement that we would give this plan out, and now all of a sudden we're going to pull it from the consumers. So that's another issue. It's a lot of in the weeds about how it all works, but it's just limiting access for consumers for 2026 right now.
Okay, so I'm going to share something with you on that. So I'm with Humana.
Mm-hmm.
I get inundated with mail from them.
Mm-hmm.
I get so much junk mail from them, or what I consider junk
Yeah,
mail,
it is.
that I toss it all. I just toss it. And I think with the age demographics we're talking about here, I think a lot of people do the same. And
Yeah.
some of those letters are probably saying, hey, we're not going to be available in your market anymore. And people don't know unless they have an agent like you.
Yeah, and a lot of people just don't want to read that stuff anymore because it's
Yeah,
all, not put in layman's terms, and people don't want to
exactly.
read and they're like, what the heck does this mean? So I think going for 2027, because it's already starting in 2026 where these insurance companies are pulling plans off the market. I think going forward in 2027, if you do not have an agent or you do not have someone to review your plan with you, it's going to be very vital in 2027. There's going to be tons of changes. There's going to be plans probably terminating fully.
Wow.
And there's also going to be benefit cuts because we just found out that Medicare, what they pay to these insurance companies, it's going to be cut drastically, which means less money to the insurance carriers, which means less benefits to the consumers. So there's going to be cuts. And it's 2027 is going to be an interesting ride. 2026 already is crazy. 2027, I think, is going to be even more crucial for people to find an agent like me and just do a review. It's important.
And I want people to know that Susan is not married to one company.
That's right.
And I got to tell you, I don't understand. You see these insurance companies making millions and millions of dollars. I don't ever hear of an insurance company who took losses, but here they are taking Medicare away in certain markets.
Yeah, they are. And that's what's limiting. So I'll tell you, for example, I'm from Vermont originally. Okay. Yes, I'm a
You're a
Southern girl
Vermont
now, but
girl.
but I'm from Vermont originally. They got rid of all of their Medicare Advantage plans. Only have Medicare and supplements, and that is it. So that is one of the problems is some of these states that are more rural, they're being very limited with what they can be offered. I mean, granted, Texas is still a big state, so we have a lot of big cities and we have a lot of options. But in certain parts of Texas, there's plans that are being terminated, and you have like one option, and that's it.
I want to remind everybody we're still in the, I guess until April, the Medicare Advantage enrollment. Is that right?
It's the Medicare open enrollment period, and it actually ends this month, March 31st.
Oh, I thought it was in April.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. So if someone wants to change their plan, they better get going.
Yeah, they have a couple more weeks. Yes. Otherwise, you're locked in for the remainder of the year unless you qualify for a special enrollment. And then you'd have to wait until October until 2027 plans hit the market. And that's where it's going to be very important to meet with an advisor because 2027 is going to be crazy.
I'm going to say this, and I can say this because it's my show. I got, there's all these national commercials, Susan, and some of them make it so good that it's too good to be true.
Yeah.
That is a national commercial. It doesn't mean in your area that
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be able to get that kind of coverage. And what I'm trying to say is it is so important that people have a good agent like yourself.
Yeah, those national commercials they bamboozle everybody.
Do you
Because
laugh when you see them?
I do, because and then they're paying these celebrities to come on and promote these plans, and I'm like, okay, that's funny. If you read the fine print, it tells you only if you are low income or have certain chronic conditions, And it's not in every state, it's not in every county, it's not in every zip code. So then you call that 1-800 number and you're talking to somebody who knows where,
Right.
and they're trying to sell you a plan, and they're like, well, you don't qualify for that plan, but let me tell you what else you can qualify. Then they're going to try to switch your plan. And sometimes you don't even know that they're switching your plan until you get a new card in the mail and you're like, wait, what happened? And so I have
Right.
that's happened a lot more lately. Um, Between 2025 and 2026, that has happened a lot more lately. And people are calling me like, I never signed anything. I never said, yes, I want to do that plan, but they get away with it on the call centers. We as agents in person, we have way stricter guidelines than what the call centers do.
I don't know if I shared this with you last time, but I'm always doing due diligence. And our Medicare shows around the country, Susan, are like some of our top shows.
Yeah.
So I called one company 3 different times. And I'm going to tell you, of course, I had zip code.
Hmm.
Susan, I got 3 different numbers, 3 different ones
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
same company.
So yeah, and that's here's what happens is they have quotas they have to meet. So like if you called that one time and it was somebody who was trying to promote a certain plan on that insurance company, you got that person. The next time you called, they were trying to promote the other plan. So they all have quotas they have to meet. So they're trying to push that plan on you regardless of whether or not it's good for you, because it's all based on numbers. So, yes. And I always tell my clients, don't ever call the member services or the sales teams on the insurance companies, because you know what? They're going to try to switch you, and then you lose a local agent like me as your rep. And then you're on your own. And that's not easy to navigate.
You know what I like about your firm, Susan, and because I told you about the bad, I had the worst agent when I first started off,
Hmm.
is that I would talk to that agent once a year. And I love the way you run your company. Your clients don't just hear from you once a year, that
No.
you're there to hold their hand. And the
Yes.
demographics we're talking about, older demographics, that means so much.
And they need that because sometimes they don't have family or friends to help them. So,
Right.
we are the ones that they do reach out to. I have a prime example yesterday. I had a client and they called and they said, we want to go to the emergency room. But what emergency room do we have to go to? I'm like, just go. Don't worry about it. Just
Right.
go. Like, if it's an emergency, just go. Like, why are you calling me to
Right.
confirm whether or not you can go to the emergency room? But they trust me. And so, I said, just go to the hospital. Doesn't matter what hospital. If it's an emergency, they have to take you in network. There's no network when it comes to emergency rooms. And so they were like, okay, fine. But, it's just funny because, people do rely on us to give them the right information. And, I send out newsletters, I send out birthday cards, I send out Christmas cards. They get emails from me, videos from me all the time. Something new is changing. So we're always around. So you always don't forget, hey, let me call Susan because you know what? I forgot I had that question to ask her. So we're always available. And that's one thing that we've always prided ourselves on is concierge service and white glove service for our clients.
Yeah, I love that about your company, how your customer service is what it boils down to.
Yes.
So you handle San Antonio, New Brunswick area. I bet you if there's someone in San Marcos, you could help them.
Yep.
Um, what this trip that you went to Washington D.C. Were you able, like Chip Roy? I know who Chip Roy is. Were
Hmm.
you actually able to speak to him about the problems that you're having in your area?
No, we don't get to see them because, like I said, they were voting on the floor, but we did speak to their staffers.
Okay.
And I, not to be mean or anything, but his staffer was not very involved in what we were telling them. He was just kind of taking notes, something like, okay, he wasn't as engaged as some of the other reps were with their staffers. So, but no, we didn't get to actually get with them, unfortunately. And that's pretty much the name of the game is you usually meet with the staffers. But,
How
they
old was
took,
that staffer, Susan?
they were like 12 years old, honestly. They were like young. No, they're college age. But they've interned, they worked their way up and they do know their stuff, which is crazy. One of actually Joaquin Castro's staffers from San Antonio, and he's from UTSA, the college
Yes.
here. So, it was kind of nice to, talk with him, and, he knows where we're coming from as in San Antonio. So, but it was a good experience and I will definitely go back.
Susan, your show goes by so fast. Tell people how they can reach you, especially with your new website.
Yeah, so we are still Medicare Gals, but we're called the Signature Senior Advisors. And we're signaturesenioradvisors.com. Phone number is 210-767-9876. And I'm located in San Antonio. My office is in New Braunfels, right by Buc-ee's. You can't miss us. And we would love to help you.
And Susan, you got to promise me something. Never get rid of Medicare Gals. I love that.
No, we're
It's part of
trademarking that.
I love that. Susan will be with us next month, and we're going to be replaying. Susan doesn't even know this. We're going to be replaying her show next week. So if you missed part of the show, and Susan, we love having you. We'll see you next month. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Thank you.
That's Susan Shimp. It's the Signature Senior Advisors with Medicare Gals. We're going to go to a quick break. We'll be right back with more Ask the Experts.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Experts show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.